Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the AI for Good Global Summit. All year, always online. So the AI for Good Innovation Factory mission is to actually identify the most innovative startups, scale-ups, AI innovators who have solutions that can help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and to actually scale those solutions to a global impact, and to identify the best one of them that actually need the support, and we can nurture these kind of solutions to really make a global impact, hopefully by 2030 to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So the Innovation Factory starts with really good applications and solutions who apply through our website. And then the best ones out of these applications, we ask them to go for the second stage, which is sending us a pitching videos. And these pitching videos actually explains their solutions and why it's important, their AI solution, their business model, their scalability potential, and also the relevance to the Sustainable Development Goals. The best solutions out of these pitching videos are invited to this third stage, which is things like today, the live pitching sessions. And of course, these pitching sessions are all going to be evaluated by a jury of experts through a very structured scorecards that has been shared by them. And all these scores are aggregated throughout the year. And the top of these solutions are all participating and invited to participate in the AI for Good Grand Finale, Innovation Factory Grand Finale by the end of the year. The same process happened last year, and we're following the same model and the same success this year as well. However, this is not like any other Innovation Factory pitching session. This is a very special session because actually it's going to be a Russian-focused pitching session. So we're going to have 5 of the most innovative AI startups in Russia. And it's also co-organized, this session is co-organized with Skolkovo Foundation in Russia. And we're very happy with this participation and collaboration. So before we start with introducing our judges, I would like to give the virtual floor to our co-organizer today, Skolkovo Foundation, and it's going to be represented by Sergey Dotov, who is the Business Development Director. Sergey, would you please enable your mic and video?
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to speak at this stage, and it is an honor for Skolkovo Foundation to be a co-organizer of this event. So Skolkovo is the biggest Russian high-tech ecosystem. It includes 2,500 startups, 100 plus corporate R&D centers, the leading scientific university Skoltech, and more than 2,000 citizens on 400 hectares. A couple of years ago, we started to pay additional attention to artificial intelligence. We were inspired by AI for Good Global Summit, ITU and UNESCO initiatives. And that is why we launched the Global Challenge program to promote sustainable development goals among high-tech community globally and to bring the best solutions on the AI map. 40 companies are already on the map, and 5 of them are pitching today. So thanks again to our colleagues from ITU, and good luck for all participants. Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Sergio. This was a very into the point and great comments. And we also wish very good luck to all the participants and startups today. Maybe it's a good point to mention that all the startups who are participate today, yes, they're participating in this Russian-focused Innovation Factory pitching session, but of course they are now part of the whole AI for Good Innovation Factory process. So all the scores that are going to be aggregated today is also part of the whole process, and who knows, might the best ones are going to be in the grand finale by the end of the year. Actually, last year it was the first time to have our Innovation Factory, AI for Good Innovation Factory program, and then the grand finale we had a lot of judges who are actually happen to be investors and VCs, and I think 2 of them, and I can even mention the names, Joseph Hopkins and Neil Sahota. Joseph Hopkins, who manages the iPrestige Fund, and Neil Sahota, who works also on the board of Reeds Capital, one of the biggest VCs, kind of took the top 4 startups for a serious investment possibility. So they kind of went through the due diligence process for possible investment. So we're really looking forward to support and scale these kind of AI for Good innovations. Thanks very much, Sergey. And I think now it's time to go quickly and introduce our judges one by one. So I will start with our great friend to the ITU and support and advisor, Neil Sahota. So Neil is a worldwide business development leader. He's also from one of the master inventor of AI and AI advisor to the UN. He's the author of Owning the AI Revolution book, and I think there's a new book right now, Neil, right?
And there's a new one called Disrupt the Box, which is about entrepreneurship and disruptive thinking. And I got to say my big thanks to Ahmed for being one of the key interviews with the Innovation Factory. Thank you.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure even to write a sentence in such a great book. Because I actually I read the Own AI Revolution. It's really a great one, very innovative. So Neil, would you just give us a quick brief about I mean your experience, what you do, so that the audience and the startups they know who you are, and maybe I'll ask you a quick question afterwards. But let's start with this.
Sure, I'll keep it brief. So I was part of the original IBM Watson team, the Jeopardy challenge, and helped pioneer the current AI wave that we're in. Was lucky enough to get connected with the ITU almost 6 years ago and actually help them start the AI for Good initiative. And so, you can see by my banner as well, I'm a proud host of their podcast, Artificial Intelligence. Lots of great things as we're building out the global ecosystem to help entrepreneurs for social enterprise, social entrepreneurship. So thanks.
Thanks, Neil. And how do you see the AI innovation space now? Like, how do you see it now with all this, great global challenges? If we talk about pandemics, if we talk about, things like climate change, how do you see that the AI innovation space can offer or can actually help in these kind of great challenges?
I think, especially with the pandemic now, we're realizing that there's so much data that we need to process quickly, and we kind of need I'll call it the external vision on some of these things. That there's been a lot more attention now on how we can actually build more AI tools and solutions, and that I think more people realize the potential that they're accelerators to solving these big problems, like the pandemic, like climate change, like poverty. And it's awesome because you have a whole new wave of people now realizing that we have a powerful tool set to tap into.
Great. Yeah, exactly. We're hoping that this kind of innovative people, AI innovators, startups can actually offer us a solution that can be as global as the challenge. Thank you very much, Neil. And I think we're moving forward with our next judge and expert for today. And I'm really happy to have with us Anna Jishko. She's the investment manager at Terra VC. Anna, it's a pleasure to have you, and thank you very much for being with us today.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be with you. So let me briefly introduce who I am and why I'm so happy to hear all the startups that will present to us. So Terra VC is a Russian fund that has a good experience investing in deep tech. We have several investments in AI, and we mostly focus in industrial things. So we have AI driller, that industrial drilling platform. We also invested in AI-powered sport bike like Carol. We also believe that AI can be helpful in education. So we recently invested in a platform that helped to educate kids English. And we brought now our interest and focus in wellness and medicine sphere. That's why I'm so thrilled to hear what today our startups can tell us, because I think the technology is the key to advance our health, how we communicate with each other, how well we work. And so
Yeah, no, they're great points. I think also the education is one of the fields that is not easy to kind of disrupt and innovate in, because usually it's one of the kind of classic fields that people would like to do the same things they did before, unlike other fields like maybe transportation or healthcare or something. So that's great that you also worked in this field and helped startups to tail on that field. And I have a very I would say hard question, but I really want to understand it. It's actually about the gender balance in VCs, because I mean in the AI for good we usually have a lot of I mean we work with a lot of technologists and a lot of companies, and we are actually one of the best platforms in terms of gender balance. We usually have a lot of women participation. I think last year we were almost 40% women participation overall in the whole summit, and I think this year as well we're kind of maintaining the same. And I'm very proud that today we have 3 experts who are women and Neil. So we have a 3-to-1 gender ratio for the women. So that's great. But my question is that why usually in the VC or the investment platform, it's still kind of male dominated in a way? Do you have any idea? Do you have any thoughts around this?
I think it's maybe some historical statistics, but it's up to us to change it. And my personal hobby and interest is female founders in Russia and abroad. So I'm working hard to make more girls and ladies come to startup world and also to VC to show the benchmark that is possible and it's a career path that people can choose. So
Exactly,
I think
exactly.
it's just a tipping point, and the more role models will help us to give gender balance to this industry.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And it's actually one of the sustainable development goals. That's right. It's important to mention it. Thanks again, Anna.
Thank
And I
you.
think the digital scorecard has been shared with you, and we look forward to your
Thank
participation
you.
today. Thank you. So we're moving forward. Our next a judge and also a dear friend of mine, Vera Futurginski. Vera, it's great to see you today. Vera is the CEO and founder of Veritas Ventures, and I'm really happy to have you today. I know it's not easy, and you're very busy with a lot of things, but you made time for this session.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. When you said it's Russian startups, I said, okay, I'm in. Just because last time I was in Russia, it was actually at Skolkovo during the Innovation Forum, which is now almost like over a year ago, before COVID, obviously. And I definitely left some of my heart there. And I can see that some of the startups that will be pitching, actually, I know personally via the accelerator I built before with Bank. So, but I promise I will not be biased. So it's going to be very objective judging. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for organizing this, Ahmed. I'm sorry I didn't get the memo that I have to put the back screen behind me AI for good, but I can. I'm happy to do so.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's a free event. It's a free event.
It's in the
You
heart.
don't have to put your, yeah, it's in the heart. So, Vera, a quick question, maybe if you can let us know a little bit, because I know you did a lot of things. You did a lot of work. I mean, you're one of the people who are actually driving the BMW Foundation innovation thing. You're also working with World Economic Forum, with the WEF. You were in Davos. You did a lot of things. So, if you can give us just a quick couple of lines or brief about what you're doing and your expertise in the tech innovation and startups and entrepreneurship areas will be great.
Okay, so the startup entrepreneurship, I've been in it for a decade, having started with Rocket Internet, which is German VC and venture builder. That's how I ended up in Dubai. I came to build a startup for them here. Then while I was running the startup, I was headhunted by Dubai government to join them as part of the founding team for Dubai Future Accelerators, where we built this government accelerator to attract the kind of the private and public sectors together. A lot of innovative companies, pairing them with different government departments. It's still ongoing, and there have also been a couple of Russian companies there. After that, I joined 500 startups and managed for them the Middle East, North Africa region, and Russia. And that's how I started coming to Russia again, to Moscow, and was there on a regular basis until about a year ago. And I miss it very much. I hope to be back soon. And now I'm actually building a VC in the well-being and wellness space, which I think are very important areas in this post-COVID world. So with the focus on digital healthcare, but also food security and future of work. And which I'm very passionate about myself. And I think we need to put more. And to your question about women, I also feel we need to increase the number of, the founders, but also who is on the other side of the table, the investors. So that's something I work on as well. And with the WEF, I'm part of the digital platforms and ecosystems expert group. And with the BMW, part of the Responsible Leaders Network. So always, try to, make sure we have innovation, gender balance, and everything that I join. And Vital Voices, which is a big network for women empowerment that I always love to mention, is one for the women here on this chat, on this
session.
Session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ahmed. I'm a bit tired from my birthday celebration, but
happy birthday!
Thank you.
We're gonna have another session for this after we're gonna all have a celebration with all the experts. Yeah, but tell me. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for organizing this, especially for Russian startups. Since I've been going there, I feel there's so much potential, and I'm happy that you showcasing this to the world, because I feel we don't get to see enough Russian startups. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And it's co-organized with Skolkovo Foundation. I mean, a great foundation. And as you mentioned, their event in Moscow, it was one of the, I would say, the best platforms or events I've ever been to.
Yeah, that's where we met.
That's where we met. That's where we met actually in Skolkovo Foundation event. So it's a great event to meet great people and real innovation experts, honestly. So we're very proud to have this collaboration with them and to have this session with them. Thanks very again. And I'm now gonna call on our last but definitely not least judge, Sasha Kail. Sasha is also a great dear friend, innovation experts, and I know advisor, speaker, expert, but I know that she has something in her heart for the digital health care kind of systems and also the healthcare sector especially. Sasha, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So happy to be here. Before I get into the personal excitement, so my brief background is I'm a serial technology entrepreneur. For the last decade, I have been in the digital health space. And as a technologist, I focus on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT application for a healthcare space. Have worked on building and bringing to market products for payer, provider, pharma, medical device, digital therapeutics, and patient space. I'm an investor, speaker, and usually a mentor on commercialization. Commercialization, of course, in digital health. I usually focus on United States market, most passionate about it, have the most knowledge about it, but also mentor on EU market as well. And the reason I'm personally really excited and very grateful to be here, because about 16 years ago, I left Russia with $320 and the dream of becoming an entrepreneur in the United States of America. And it's been a long journey, a bumpy one at times, but would not regret a thing. And at the time, I was doing a lot of research in Russia, and I have the privilege of having worked with some of the Russia's most brilliant minds in physics and mathematics space, but I've never met a female entrepreneur. I've also never met a female entrepreneur in the technology space. So I'm really glad that, although it's taken 16 years, but I see some female entrepreneurs who are about to pitch. I'm super excited. I'm excited personally, I'm excited professionally. And again, thank you again for having me.
Thank you very much, Sasha. We're also excited to have you and to have all the 5 startups of today, especially for the reasons you mentioned. And also from the pitching videos that they sent us through the process were really great. I mean, really, really innovative solutions. So we're all excited today. And because of this excitement, so we're going to move forward with the pitching right away. Thanks very much for all our 4 judges, for Sergi, for organizing this and pulling this together from Skolkovo Foundation. And I think it's time now for the best part of the session, which is the pitches. So I would like to call on our first startup. First of all, we're going to have, as I said, 5 startups. They're going to be Ambil, BioGear Hub, UVA, Botkin AI, Sol, and Osf Forensics. So we're going to start now with Ambil. So hey man, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, hello, thank you. Hello everyone again. Thank you very much for joining. For inviting this summit, I'm glad to start this session. My name is Alex Sirkov. I'm a CEO of DeepSound, and I'm glad to present you our AI project for early disease diagnostics using auscultation sounds. So our project perfectly fit 2 sustainable development goals: good health and well-being and life on land. And we are a hard tech company specialized in high precision sound analysis and classification using our own unique neural network technology we call DeepSound AI. If we compare our technology, we can see that it works 5 times faster and 30% more accurate than open source Google CNN. This means that our algorithm is very fast and smart and can be used on any smartphone or low energy device like car on board computers. So using our technology, we are solving the problem of respiratory disease diagnostics. We decided to start with, to test it on animals with horses first, because for these animals, disease diagnostics is complex, expensive, and dangerous procedure. In medicine and veterinary, there is a fast, accurate, safe, and clinically accurate diagnostic method called auscultation. But it's complicated for humans because of a lot of external noises. So we solved that problem. Able analyze breathing sound recorded on any digital stethoscope and immediately detects diseases even at the early stage. In fact, we exclude human factor and increase diagnostics accuracy. So our technology fits for any types of animals and can diagnose not only respiratory diseases, but also cardiovascular and digestive systems. And we can make it more accurate later by adding percussion sounds or MRI images. Our clients are veterinary clinics, racehorses, stables, and horse owners. Our product price is $500 annually per horse. Our product is still in development, but we have already started pre-sales and have subscribed $10,000 slowly. After we test our technology on animals, we will adapt it for humans. Our goal is to make it available for people who don't have access to expensive medical equipment. We have already made the first pilot tests and trained our algorithm to detect 3 different human diseases with incredible 98 and 99% of sensitivity and specificity. In comparison with other diagnostics methods, our technology is fast, safe, fits for early disease diagnostics, and can help minimize the risk of chronic diseases if you use it regularly. The founders of the project are entrepreneurs with more than 13 years of experience, including building international companies, and we also have a PhD veterinarian with more than 20 years of experience. So now we are raising $200,000 for clinical tests and marketing acceleration. And with this money, we plan to reach $500,000 revenue this year and increase company valuation at least 10 times. So my presentation is over. Thank you very much. I'm glad to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. That was great. And I mean, it was so much into the point. So from our experts and judges for today, any comments, any questions, please just enable your video. So we have Sasha, please go ahead.
Excellent presentation. I do like the fact that you're right to the point. And it also makes sense that you are trying to prove your models and starting with the animal side. Have a question as far as your market focus. Are you going to focus on the Russian market? Do you have any plans to expand, and when would that be?
We are planning to start with Europe market because Russian market, if we talk about animals, about horses, is too small. So we also communicated with almost all horse owners in Russia and big stable horses here. And now we are connecting with Germany stable horses and hippodromes using help of Amazon business development teams that helps us to connect with Europe companies.
Okay, that makes sense. One quick question. As far as the application of your technology on animals, is this, let's say, can you take a smaller animal and still deliver the value, something like a dog or a cat?
Yeah, it's also possible, but the problem of diagnostic small animals, it's not so actual because we started with horses because horse a very big animal and it's a problem. It's a huge problem to diagnose respiratory diseases. And one more reason why we started with horse and animals, it's that we don't need to get any FDA approval. And so we can start pre-sales now and sell our technology right when it will be ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just, cats and dogs market is huge, including...
Yeah.
Why I was asking, and which is fine. Yeah, okay. Thank you for answering. Good presentation. Thank you.
Neil, please go ahead.
Thank you. Great presentation. And Sasha was actually touching upon the question I wanted to ask. So, hopefully you'll get some great success with horses. What's going to happen after that? What's kind of your long-term strategy to scale out?
You see, we have a different ways. So if now we are talking about horses, then we can move into cattle. And of course, as I said, we are interested in human diagnostics because it's a really huge market. So the next stage is to go in human disease diagnostics.
And will any of the work you did with horses be applicable for the human, or is this something where you start from the beginning again?
It will be applicable also, because to improve our technology, we are collecting now human voices also, because it will help our technology to make more accurate diagnostic diseases.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We have a question from Vera.
Yeah, Alexei, thank you so much. And I can see on the slide that it's still up, that you mentioned the Arabic market. I must say, when you were speaking about horses, and I might be biased because I'm based in Dubai, but I think the GCC region is probably really interested in, horses, and I would think invest in them more than many other European countries. So I would really look at the Arabic market. That's number one suggestion just for you. Second, I find, 200,000 is really not so much that you're raising. Is that enough to really move from the horses to the human?
It's enough to start with animals, yes. So it's an angels round. You're right, it's not big money, but it's enough because our technology is smart and we need just about 20, 30 samples of each disease to train our technology with accuracy more than 19% of sensitivity.
So you at the very beginning, what you presented before is the vision. You haven't really tested the technology yet.
We are testing now our technology, yes, and collecting data set of horse respiratory diseases.
So you started that in Russia. You've been doing that already.
Yeah, we are starting in Russia, of course. It's we have here our development center and science center, and we collecting data here because it's much more cheaper.
So you split it in 50K for the technology and 150K for kind of the rollout, the market entry into Europe and
yes.
Okay. All right. I'm probably, from experience speaking, it's probably going to be much more, unfortunately, but I think, if you can do it lean, the leaner, the better, of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck.
Alexei, thank you for a great presentation. I have two questions. Do you have the estimate of your target market in, I don't know, population of horses or in dollars? The second question is, how do you build your sales in this market? Is it B2B or B2C, or how is it push forward with your pipeline?
Here's the market size. We calculated, so the horses market is not so big. It's about 6 million ton. But if we talk about cattle, it's about 400 billions. And yes, it will be the B2B sales for stables when we sell our subscription for about 200 horses. It's usually so.
And what is the alternative methods they use currently? So if not technology, so is it doctor, or what's your basically competitor in this sector?
Usually it's a doctor, and to diagnose, you need to make a lot of research, additional research. Some of them are really dangerous for horse. For example, if we talk about MRI, it's a really complicated procedure, and you need to spend about 2 days to prepare horse for MRI and to make it.
Okay, thank you.
I have just one more additional question, if I may, Ahmed and Alexei.
Please,
Um,
Vera.
I find it a bit, you know,
Okay.
I must say a little bit confusing, Alexei, because you speak about horses, then you actually show the cattle market, and which is a big market. And when do you plan to move from that to the humans?
We can do it parallels, but for us at the moment, interesting horses first. I show you cattle market because it's a huge, and we call as part of our strategy, we also can move there. But at the moment, we're focusing only on horses. And we, as I said, we also parallel collect human data set. So we will be ready to make it for humans too.
Yeah, I just think positioning is really important. You know, I feel like you need to know, are you targeting, you know, horses just in the beginning, then move into humans, or will you really stay in that market? I think it's, you don't need to decide now, but it's something to think about. That I find like real like positioning, knowing that at best, I think you actually really know what you want, that's quite important.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to make a quick comment. It's not a question. Was about to make it before Vera's comment, but I think it's something that, if not all of us, most of us are thinking. Alexei, I think your tech makes sense. The competitive advantage in the animal market makes sense. I think you have something that my advice is to focus and pursue. Cattle market is huge. And as someone who has worked in the digital health space globally, I can tell you that the human market is actually crowded with the similar diagnostic space. I mean, we have here Neil, who's worked on IBM Watson. So Watson is well known for, you know, imaging diagnostics. So there are other ways to basically accomplish the same thing for humans. But the animal market is huge. Like if your tech is good at detecting large animals, you have, you know, horses and cattle here identified. United States market is, you know, they'll pay you enough for you to for your operation to be profitable. And then again, if you can tap into the cats and dogs, you know, I probably not the one to tell you the size of that market. That's quite lucrative. So my feedback is just kind of piggybacking what Vera was saying, is that have a focus, and I think there is enough for you to do in the animal market. Your product makes sense, good presentation, good opportunity in front of us. I think the race is also reasonable if your tech works, and if your competitive landscape has been analyzed correctly, you shouldn't come across a lot of rejection. So just keep at it, stay focused.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you very much. That was a good presentation, and actually I like the comments from Vera and Sasha very much, and of course some hard questions, but that's why we're here. Thank you very much, Alexei, and I think we will be moving forward with our next startup. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. It's BioGear Hub UVA. Is that a little bit right?
Yes, it is.
Great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Oleg Yakushkin, and I represent BioGear Hub project. We are engaged in the analysis of photo and video observation data for the monitoring of the state of life below water and automatic mapping of seascapes. The annual amount of work for marine mapping exceeds 10,000 square kilometers. The market volume for interpretation of underwater photos and video surveillance is estimated at $300 million per year. In addition to mapping tasks, video surveillance plays a vital role in monitoring of aquacultural growth. Our main goal is to automate these services and radically reduce time spent on them, facilitating decent work and economic growth. It is essential to consider the specifics of the underwater market and underwater world. Many objects cannot be described with clear boundaries or format. Neural network technologies allow us to overcome the limitations of traditional methods for working with images. Therefore, we see the solution in the mapping problems with creation and integration of a cascade of neural networks with geoinformational services, thus allowing for sustainable communities management of underwater creatures. The basic architecture of our neural networks is presented on a slide. Our team has rich experience in the manual generation of biomass distribution for environmental monitoring in different areas, including clean water and sanitation. Our experience has allowed us to create high-quality groundwork, a massive set of unique photos and video materials of different species, animals and plants. Now we have developed specialized tools for marking up images, video materials, with a role-based distribution of access. We will investigate the methods of predictive marking for video materials in object detection. For example, here you can see our approach to few-shot learning of static object segmentation, which is the first step for marking up video materials and finding the cases where it works not so well. Here you can see how we detect a few moving objects without class specification, but finding out their boundaries. And here we present our technologies for depth estimation and underwater depth mapping. It is essential to be able to reconstruct depth of our images and to map biomass to the actual 3D environment. From the point of view of the aquaculture cultivation market, we see the problems of analyzing morbidity and population size in the aquatic environment as exceeding and solvable. The tasks of ecological monitoring of ecosystems when laying sea cables and pipelines, construction of power plants, mining of nodules are keystones for facilitating responsible consumption and production. This is one of our many goals. We see the main areas of BioGear Hub focus as a crucial industry innovation and infrastructural pain points. Here we show the size of the aquaculture market, with most fish farms accounting up to 15% of losses during regular production cycles. So everyone that is in, for example, Russian aquacultural market is depending and relying on 15% of loss every time they are trying to grow anything. And this all in the world amounts up to $30 billion of losses per year. Now we are actively working on the project, and we hope you will join us as partners, both in terms of investment and research. Several organizations have already become interested in our project and are ready to serve as testing sites for our solutions. Our interdisciplinary team consists of environmentalists, programmers, and people in business with extensive experience. Join us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I'm not an expert in the field, but I do love the application of AI and deploying here. Can you educate me on what the ideal customer looks like for you? So is this, I'm assuming it's, you know, a B2B, but what size of organization, what market you targeting? I was looking at your TAM numbers. It seems significant, but it's not clear to me who's going to buy it and what your market focus is. And then second question along the line is, how much are you charging? What are you charging for? Like, what is the model? Do you have a software as a service model, or is it a one-time per project fee? How do you monetize this? Thank you.
So let's start with the beginning. There are marine mapping of 10,000 square kilometers per year. And for now, it is done by hand. So a ship goes around, captures photo and video data, and then a specialized human sits on his chair and for half a year is mapping up that landscape, that creature's diversity, that area of spread, and then they, for example, calculate where they can build stuff, where can they dump stuff, and where they should not do that. And it amounts up to $300 million per year. So this is the market size for this global operation. We substitute this time gap. So he now or she requires 6 months to do this work. Now he will require at least 1 day. So we'll shrink this process to the point where he or she only would need to validate our results. So we will do all the dirty work for him, count the amount of creatures, count the spread they're occupying. So present with a depth map and estimates of how and where the creatures are spread. And this time elimination allows us for producing lots of data quite in a fast and timely manner. We are actually extremely scalable because we can scale up to thousands of GPUs in a single time, because we have a cascade of neural networks that can operate like a water flow. So data is flowing from one to another, and this data can flow in parallel. So This allows us for extremely fast data processing, and for that human, for that expert that is working in his field, it would allow him to work not on one project per year or 2 projects per year, but allow him to work on 1 project per day. And this is our main goal, to facilitate and exploit their time much more vigorously and carefully. So the humans won't waste their time, and the companies that are currently exploiting them and are gaining their $300 million per year will save and get abilities to produce content quicker. So this is the first pain point. Second pain point, with AI and with our technologies, with the speeds, we allow for new and exciting tech in terms of sea mapping, because for now you cannot map without a specialized project. So for now you need to have a big construction site that would pay for this environmental monitoring, and they would pay that company with which we will be working that will be scanning the seafloor and so on. And now we'll allow generally for research institutes, general interesting enthusiasts, and non-commercial organizations to provide us with video footage from which, and mapping coordinates from which we'll be able to present them with maps of creature spread, and this will open new areas in this market. So for now it is B2B only, but we see that in future this B2B, the size of businesses we are targeting, will be growing quite fast, because this technology is costly for consumers now, but it will be much cheaper in the future. So we're currently around like 5 to 10 times faster than anyone can do it by hand. And as we are parallelizable per frames, we can do it up to 10,000 times faster. And the price for the consumer would only depend on the scale he wants. So for example, if someone wants to map 300 square kilometers, it would be one price, and if the scale is smaller, it would be another price. It would be much cheaper. It is around $300 per kilometer or less.
Okay, and this is a recurring revenue that you're charging for, or you charging for?
It is service, software as a service, and we present our clients with opportunities to embed our software into their data centers if they wish to. So we are flexible in this way.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Neil, please go ahead.
Thank you. That was a great answer, because I had the exact same question, and I would definitely work some of that into your presentation pitch, because I think it'll help sharpen your message. I totally get the value of what you're doing, and this is really important work. I'm curious, because of the diversity and the variability in ocean life, how are you going to tackle that, especially for areas that have been less explored for the future?
Yeah, it's extremely interesting, because there are at least as half of the species not yet detected underwater. So we investigated in the first time of our company's development in few-shot learning techniques. And for example, you see this segmentation on the slide. It is done from just 5 images of this crab type, and we get around 70% of object detection. So if you have 5 photos of your creature that you've detected or your biologist detected, we can then search for it and detect it when it comes to our view. And this is extremely interesting, because few-shot learning techniques are valuable for 2 parts. First of all, this few-shot objects in the world detection, and secondly, for mapping for the objects that we need really precise mapping for. For example, when we use our professional biologists with experience and degrees for mapping up our videos, we firstly present them with this data that is pre-segmented, and then they fine-tune our segmentation results to get more coverage and to do false and negative positives, and we then retrain our data set on this. So this is a few-shot learning problem, and we are working with it.
Just a quick follow-up question to that. Given then the vast amount of data you're going to have to ingest, do you have some sort of streamlined process to manage that?
Yeah, we are doing all in the cloud, like the Netflix does it. So we are scalable. If a big project comes to us and he, for example, or she wants to distribute all the content and do it all in one day, we can do it all in one day on AWS or on Microsoft Azure clouds, because they have GPUs, and we can plant like 1,000 GPUs at the same instant and process all the data through that pipeline. Or if someone wants to go slowly, we can host it on our at-home resources, on our on-site cluster, and it will take much longer, but it will cost less.
Okay, and that supposes the data is already tagged in some fashion for the machine to learn. Okay.
The data tag consists of two things. First of all, we take video, and second of all, we take the coordinates of the ship moving. So these are two pain points we need to get from the customer, and we provide customer with two variants. First variant is detection of the object pool we know. It is like 300 different object types. And the second option is providing his or her 25 images, from which we'll be searching for his or her specific creatures he or she wants to detect.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oleg. Great presentation. You know, I'd like to understand what is your vision? Why are you doing this? Like, what do you want to get? And what SDGs are you solving with that?
So it is extremely important to gather and get knowledge around life underwater, because we know about our underwater life less than we know about Mars, Venus, and so on. So, and there is actual life. We know of it exists in there, and it is harmed by trash, it is harmed by construction, it is harmed by pollution. And to detect how much harm was done, to be able to estimate much clearly how much damage is done or can be done, we need to be able to map it quite precisely. For now, they are doing it like this. They take a net, like meter by meter, and each 2 square kilometers, they put it down underwater, make photo, put it up, pull it up, and like from 10 points, they get a 10 by 10 square kilometer grid. And they say, well, from that set of points, we will estimate our environmental damage. And we can sweep around and do precise mapping. And thus we'll be able to present with much more precise pain points where you can actually do construction, where you cannot do construction, what price you will be needed to pay for the government or for your institution to be able to cover the damage you eventually will cause. So this is our first pain point and first place we want to be impactful. And the second point we want to be impactful is the mapping of underwater sea and life around that. So as we are a team composed of not only programmers, but many passionate marine biologists and scientists, they are extremely frustrated with the time and pain they need to come through to just map creatures that they map every day. So they do it by hand. It takes a lot of time for them, and we want to help them.
So when you said there are more than 50% of creatures we don't even know yet, right? So
yeah.
that exists there. So how will you be able to map them out, like if you don't have pictures of them?
So for example, here you see that we detected an object, but we don't really know what type of object it is. So for example, on this slide, you can see that we are detecting an object. We don't yet know what object type it is. We just know that there is an object, it is moving, it is something, and our expert biologist or some person of interest can say that this is that type of creature and that is that type of creature. AI allows us to map not only specified classes, but also just moving targets. And here underwater, most moving targets are live.
Yeah, I think it's great. We definitely need more of that. We destroy way too much of our environment. I think what my recommendation would be for you is to definitely look for, not for venture capital money, but more for grants, you know, more for like government support, EU, UN, WEF.
Yeah, it's quite hard to get, sadly, EU grants from Russia.
Because it's going to be it's quite a long process. It's not going to be scalable in a few months, right? It's not your typical, let's say, e-commerce startup. it's much more work. It's a commitment, and it's I'd be looking for grants where you don't give away equity as well. I mean, just once you get to that process, you might not be there yet, but I do think this is work that, you know, probably I would hope many organizations would want to support.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vera. It's also a good comment. Anna, if you're gonna keep it very quick as well.
Alex, thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question. As far as I understood, the current problem of our ocean is one is overfishing, and another one is pollution. There is a lot of garbage in the world ocean and the sea. Do you think that your project can help to identify those rubbish items and try to help to navigate where it's located and somehow to clear it up?
Yeah, so we have a problem for now. For example, that when you do surveillance of underwater world, the detection of when we are talking about deep sea, detection of life is rare. So for example, you can go like 300 meters of Antarctic sea and see like one starfish or two starfish. But when you get some kind of trash, you get abundance of life around it, because it forms, for example, if it is a metal container. And if it's just trash, you always see it too, because it is quite flat and interesting desert. And detection of such trash is hard to do manually, because when a person just is sitting and looking for life, it is his or she not looking for dead or inanimate objects. And we are able to detect them automatically, and thus save time for everyone in ecological space or in research space in terms of detection how much trash is there. So automatic detection of trash is of course our priority, and we are working with that.
The reason why I ask that, I think that can be more commercial aspect of that service. Maybe you need to research it as well. That's true.
Yeah, of course, it is quite interesting. There are interesting commercial niches in terms of, for example, when you have aquaculture, like seashells growing up, and if you have some kind of damage, like acid going through some river, like in 3 kilometers from there, the shells of these shells can get a little bit distorted, and you can see it in images. So detecting for aquaculture the damage that is done by environmental pollution is of course one of our targets too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really cool, and actually I think it's very relevant to the SDG life under below water, which is a very relevant one. And I mean, Vera's comment also is very correct. I mean, you need some organizations to be working with you on this. I mean, ITU as a UN organization, so
yeah, we are welcoming all partners.
Yeah, so I think this would be of interest to us as well and to other UN organizations. We have 38 UN agencies as partners, so this would be shown to them as well, and it's very interesting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we need to move on now with our third startup today, Botkin AI. Good to have you. Thank you very much for being with us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So please, the virtual floor is yours, and you can start.
Thank you so much. So my name is Alexey Fomin. I'm CBDO at Botkin AI company, which basically has developed a software-based platform based on artificial intelligence technologies for radiological studies analysis. First of all, in the normal time, there are two main issues in the field of radiology. The first one is lack of radiologists all over the world, and the second one is the risk of missed pathologies, including oncological ones. Pandemic situation adds the third one, is basically the fact that the number of radiologists stays the same, while the number of studies, CTs, X-rays increases dramatically from day by day. So overall, we solve three of these issues with the help of our artificial intelligence-based platform. We reduce the workload of radiologists, we reduce the medical errors probability, we save time and costs, and of course, we offer them the real value when it comes to radiological departments on an everyday basis. Despite the fact that there are a lot of companies which are dealing with artificial intelligence technologies and artificial intelligence technologies in radiology in particular, We do not believe in the pure AI. We believe that only continuous interaction between artificial intelligence technologies and radiologists would lead to the increased quality and affordability of radiological diagnostics in any part of the world. We're not just pure AI, we are the holistic IT and AI platform combining the technologies for seamless integration with any kind of medical institution and tools for continuous interaction between radiologists and artificial intelligence technologies. We're the first ones in the world to implement the AutoML technology in the sphere of medicine in order to create and adjust new models with a shorter period of time and with higher level of accuracy. Currently, we offer 5 products in order to analyze cities, in order to find lung cancer and COVID-19 symptoms, to find non-oncological pathologies on digital X-ray, and breast cancer and mammography. In 2021, we want to enlarge our product pipeline when it comes to pathologies we are capable of detecting and types of studies we are capable of analyzing. When it comes to COVID-19 products, a lot of companies starting from Alibaba ending up with scientific groups of universities have created their products, but the real value is added when you measure the damaged tissue of lungs, because this is the thing on which the most time is spent by radiologists. So we also provide them such an information when it comes to damaged tissues of lungs. We also provide them the prioritization of patients flow, which is even more important because of COVID-19. This focus of radiological diagnostic has switched to COVID-19, while other pathologies, such as, for example, lung cancer, can be missed because of the increased workload of radiologists. We have created the first one in the world hybrid product to significantly increase the radiological diagnostics when it comes to simultaneous analysis of COVID-19 and lung cancer. When it comes to proof of concept, it's a great problem when it comes to artificial intelligence companies. We have already implemented 15 projects in Russia and outbound in such countries as Brazil, Egypt, Philippines, and so on. And overall, if you take, for example, the results of our products for a CT analysis in order to find lung cancer in the early stages, we increased the lung cancer detection by 50% if you compare the work of radiologists alone and the work of radiologists with decision supportive tool of Botkin AI. We can be used in at least 2 ways as software as a service. So we have partnerships with Amazon and Microsoft. We use the locally based services and servers in order to align with all of the law regulations, as well as we can be installed in the closed IT circuit of medical institution. So there no personification is needed. We have also introduced the new approach when it comes to teleradiological services. We do not only connect medical institutions which require remote analysis of radiological studies and remote radiologists, but we also put our artificial intelligence technologies in between in order to assure that the client gets 100% result and 100% efficiency. Not a lot of companies all over the world disclose their results when it comes to their accuracy, sensitivity, and specificity. We do it regularly with the help of our scientific researchers, and according to the last one, we possess the best results in the world when it comes to false positives results when finding lung cancer on cities. We have already obtained 2 patents, and we are in process of obtaining the 3rd one. We are also the first ones in Russia to obtain the certificate of medical device by the class 2B, which allows us to be used as a decision supportive system in any kind of medical institution, as well as we plan to obtain the CE mark by February 2021. One of the main parts of our team is the president of Russian Society of Radiologists, the leading radiologist of Russia. His name is Valentin Evgenievich Sinitsyn. And that means that we use the best practices and the best opinions from the leading radiologists in creation of our products. We create products for radiologists by radiologists to help them on an everyday basis. I think this is it from my side. Thank you so much for your attention firstly, and afterwards I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very clear and to the point. Yeah, I can see Sasha. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. Quite concise.
My pleasure.
What market focus do you have? I'm familiar with the space very much so in the EU and in the United States. In the United States, we are probably one of the most developed markets, health markets in the world. So the space has a lot of competition. So just wanted to know what market you are targeting. And in addition, wanted to know what are your top 3 needs currently as a company?
I see. Thank you so much. First of all, when it comes to prioritization of markets we are looking for, I think these are the four of them. The first one is Latin America, the second one is Southeast Asia, the third one is Middle East, the fourth one is Europe. We are absolutely aware of the competitive landscape when it comes to US, and we are not pretending that we have a lot of chances when it comes to entering the US market because of the size of investment, because of the not that clear perception of Russian IT companies, if you know what I mean. And of course, the thing is that we are ready to be compared in terms of accuracy, sensitivity, and specificity. You've mentioned IBM Watson, and it's common knowledge that just a huge amount of money was invested, but there is no information regarding the commercial usage still. So we focus on these markets, and under each and every focus, we have particular reasons. So, for example, if we're talking about Latin America, for example, Brazil still struggles a lot against COVID-19, and they don't have decision support system to help their radiologists, and still there is a lack of radiologists. In Southeast Asia, we already have a partnership with leading pharmaceutical company, which is based in Wuxi province. And when it comes to Middle East, they have the governmental support programs of basically application and integration of artificial intelligence technologies there. So we want to be a part of it. When it comes to our needs, I don't think that at the moment we need the direct investment, because we've just closed another round B of investment in December 2020. But we would need investment when it comes to opening the local branches and local representatives, hiring of our company in the particular market that we are aiming to. This is the first thing. Second thing is, of course, we are waiting and looking forward to having partners locally, because it's definitely hard to establish the fruitful cooperation, especially during this period of time when you are not able to travel. And we are looking for basically pilot and commercial projects and partners when it comes to medical institutions, when it comes to radiological equipment providers, and when it comes to the groups of people who are interested in at least testing and afterwards using on a commercial basis of our system.
Quick comment. I think the market selection will make or break your company, and I think you are on the right track. And I think it sounds like you've done the work validating your hypothesis as far as what the customer needs are in each market. Just a quick note, I think one way for expansion is, of course, direct sales, right, where you hire your own representative. Another way is through reseller partnerships. My advice to look into IBM, but be very specific, because each market will have a representative. They actually have a really good startup program, and you just need to be focused and say, we only want to have relationship with this market. They'll put you in touch. Also, Microsoft has a really good, robust program working with startups. The only one thing I would say is Microsoft will require for you to use very specific number of cloud credits. So I don't know who's hosting you, but I would also evaluate, Amazon has also another good program. I'm not familiar with their requirement for partnership, but I would also see who you can partner up. And finally, Oracle. So all of those companies have, different requirements. Last time I interacted with Oracle, with one of my portfolio companies, it was market specific, and you know right away if they already have a similar vendor or not. But I think your market selection makes sense, and being creative as far as sales goes would probably help you to put some money in the bank.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Checking if there's other questions. Oh yeah, we have Anna. Please go ahead.
Hello, Alexey. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question regarding the competitors. What's your strategy in terms of going to market, given there is some corporates who works on the same technology, it's lots of startups in similar sectors. So how you position yourself, and what's your competitive advantages to sell that product to your customers?
I see. So we divide our competitive advantages into three groups at least. The first ones are everything which is related to technical things. So first of all, as I've mentioned before, we are not just a pure AI. We have invested a lot of time and resources into the IT tools as well. So we provide the one-stop shop solution. So it's not just what, one of the main problems of AI solutions and AI companies is that it's a great and hype theme, but they are not capable of integrating this solution into the everyday working of radiologists and really add value. So it's just another thing that they have to integrate into their working routine, and that makes a bit of a stress for radiologists. We are a one-stop shop, as I've mentioned before, so we provide the analysis and also we visualize it with the help of our own DICOM viewers, for example. So nothing needed. They don't need, I don't know, 4 programs in a row to use our program as a 5th one. So they use only our program and get result. This is the technical thing. Plus, there is a great problem when it comes to testing of artificial intelligence technologies. Most of the companies which basically publish the results of the sensitivity, accuracy, and so on, they publish it based on their inner data sets. And when it comes to the fact that they would have to implement their technologies in the real world, the sensitivity, specificity, and accuracy slows down and shows not that results that were published before. We are flexible, and we invested in a lot of resources into the completion of our data sets. So they are really international. We're absolutely sure currently, and being implemented, for example, in Egypt, will work with the same accuracy as we work in Russia. This is the technological part. The second thing, when it comes to our market positioning, we are ready to offer our solution for a trial period or for a pilot project, only charging for integration if the medical institution is interested. So we offer flexible ways of testing and basically integration of our system into the everyday basis. If the system shows the real accuracy and the real added value to the radiological department, we convert it into our commercial integration. Last but not least is the fact that we really offer the unique schemes and unique products. There is no one company in the world which is currently having the product which simultaneously analyzes CTs in order to find COVID-19 and, for example, oncology of lung cancer. So we have already implemented several projects of retrospective analysis of the studies which were implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic in order to additionally find lung cancer. So this is the thing, this is the unique selling point that we are also using. Last but not least is, of course, the fact that we are working with professional community and radiologist community with the help of the head of our scientific advisory board, as well as we use our international partners. So you can't go that far without support of radiologists, because currently the main frustration of radiological community is the fact that AI is going to replace them within a short period of time. And that's not true. So we try to do it from sales perspective, from professional perspective, and from technical perspective. 3 different approaches.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. I think it was clear, and you also had a very clear answers to the questions. And I think we need now to move forward with our next startup. Thank you very much for having. I mean, really, we're happy to have you. I mean, it's great. I was just telling Sergey, great innovations for all the 3 startups, very relevant to the SDGs. So it's a pleasure to have you guys. So we're going with the next one, Sol. So Sol, are you ready, Alexei? Yeah.
Okay, my name is Alexei Melnik, and I'm a CEO and founder of video remote interpreting platform for deaf and half of hearing accessibility. Why it is important? Nowadays, the speed of raising of number of deaf and hard hearing at least twice faster than the raising of population of Earth. Unfortunately, we are working on raising market, and only in CIS is 500,000 of totally deaf people. This is the foreigners in their own countries, and in the world it's up to 20 million totally deaf people. And we're working with a lot of sustainable development goals, 5 goals. These people are isolated from education, isolated from income, high income, isolated from a lot of services, because they are all connected on conversation on the native languages, but not on sign language. What are we doing? Let me show you. We deliver transactional remote interpreting on sign language to the point of usage and in the time that is needed in pharmacy, in supermarkets, in banks, in medical companies, in especially social services, in 4 countries of XCs, in Russian-speaking countries now, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. And we know that a lot of these people can be equal with hearing people getting the services they need, not waiting for interpreter. We have some special cases. For example, 20 mosques in Uzbekistan uses our app to deliver interpreting on the Friday Mass, and deaf are crying when they understand what the mullah said. Now we're working 3 years, and now we using our platform totally human usage. We have remote interpreters, but from this year, our 2 years work, we roll out our video to text technology to decrease the human usage and to make our app more accessible and more cheap to end customers, to our business clients, to spread our technology all over our market. Our sign recognition models based on our data set that we collected and marked by the force of our interpreters. I think we are one of the few companies in the world that have this specialized data set, and we move forward on other types of sign language, not on the Russian sign language, but to American sign language and German, French group or Chinese group. Now our sales are focused on Russia and CIS. We mostly sell directly, but this year we raised in partner sales, and we have foreign revenue, and we believe in the partners in the local countries, and we invest a lot of our time to work with partners to deliver our service to end clients. We have several competitors all over the world. Some of them uses their own technology, but most use some not specialized features like Skype or other. And now we don't think they are really our competitors, because we are all doing the same deeds. And Russia experience shows us that our competitors can be our partners and can work from our platform using their own interpreters, or maybe in the future the AI. We have 3 offices and 13 members of the team, and we believe that our project will be stable only in big numbers of transactions. So we're searching for business and government partners in the different language segments, in ILS, in German speaking countries, in French speaking countries, in Asian speaking countries. And we're searching for special investments and grants. Now we're working with UNDP and USAID in the Central Asia. We're instrument in the project of delivering some services to the deaf. For example, we have a USAID project of juridic consultation to deaf with sign interpreters through our platform. Thank you very much. I'm ready for the questions.
Thank you very much. It was a little bit over time, but that's okay. Left you to finish it. Any questions from our experts today? Yeah, Neil, please go ahead.
Sure. Hey, first of all, great presentation. You're definitely focusing on an interesting area, given how many variations of sign language there are. I know there's a lot of people working in this space, and so I'm curious because one of the big challenges is variation in the hand motions. Like if you need to make a sign where you should be flat, but if someone's kind of like at a slight angle, sometimes the machine isn't able to pick that up or interpret it correctly. How are you handling these scenarios?
This is a real challenge for us, and for me as an interpreter, first of all, we should deliver service, and the second, we should develop our AI. So we use our AI service only on the not health or money connecting services. Maybe in hypermarkets or in post offices where we can not lose something. So there are several approaches to this. One approach, we make it with our Hungarian partners, usage of special glass, colored glass. They're very cheap, but they help us to not to work with things after us. The second approach is to make the special workspaces, workplaces with chroma key or white background after us. But these problems, I'm an IT man, more than 10 years in IT. And when I started to work with this project, I thought that in 1 year we will solve all these problems, and we will start to deliver artificial sign interpreter, but it doesn't work. We use combined model using human and AI to make good service.
Yeah, it's a thank you for the answer. It's a complicated challenge, as you've seen. So that's great. And I'm curious, given the different variations in the sign language, are you using that in some regards to do like interpretation or translation? So from one language to another?
From one sign language to another sign language?
Yep.
No, now we don't work with these cases. I think this is the next stage of our development. This is, I suppose we have a lot of work in the speaking languages to sign language cases. We need to solve these problems first.
That's true. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Vera, please go ahead.
I'll be quick. I know we're running a bit out of time. Alexei, first of all, congratulations, great presentation. I think in some cases it needs a little bit adjustments because you kept some Russian words in there as well. But definitely a great cause, and it's wonderful to see you working on that, especially in Russia and CIS. And I loved the Uzbekistan example you brought. I wanted to mention that, Ahmed, if I remember correctly, there was a Korean startup that does something similar, wasn't there? I think it was either with you, with ITU, or maybe another UN organization, a judge. But I remember seeing something similar.
It was here. It was Korean startup. I think it was in March last year.
Exactly, the Korean startup.
Yeah, Equal for All, something like this.
Yeah, and they had a great develop. So maybe it would be good to put Alexei either in touch. So, I mean, it's competition, but it's different countries. So maybe it's good to, I don't know, Alexei, how much you looked at the competition outside of Russia to just get ideas how it could be adapted for the market, because I suppose you are focusing on the Russian and CIS markets and you're not really going outside of that. So it'd be good to look at some others that have already maybe developed a bit further. Just like a comment.
Exactly.
But otherwise it's great, and good luck. And we definitely need, it's wonderful to see that you really care about, the people around so much. So thank you for this.
Yeah, it's a very valuable comment. I think it's good to make this kind of connection so that we can both share experiences. So Anna, please, this would be last question for this startup. So Anna, go ahead.
Alexei, thank you so much for this project. I think it's brought up attention to the problem that many people don't recognize. And my question is, do you plan to expand your solution for blind people, maybe some image recognition services, so we can build ecosystem around that?
Yeah, this is a very good question. last years we always try to make more complex solution, because working with deaf people, we work with very close auditory and very small market for even for government with whom we're working. So we have partners working with blind people. We have fork, we called it Global Care League, another project. On the platform of this, we're combining some services for people with special needs. So this is the other part of our work of our team. But now, so is has the best traction in our profile of team. This is the only project of the ecosystem. We didn't found how to land it somewhere.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei. And this was a good presentation as well, answering the questions. And I'll have a homework to connect you with other partners that might, share experience or maybe help you to scale. Thanks again. And I think now it's time for our last and definitely not least startup, Osf Forensics.
Yeah, hello, my name is Svetlana. I'm founder of Osf Forensics. Osf Forensics, this is the solution which helps to prevent biometric and deepfake attacks, especially for any clients of any organizations. And I would like to say that in terms of sustainable development policy, we are more in the focus based on our technology in infrastructure and innovation. But if we are looking to the fields of implementation, it could be cross-border or the other sectors as well. And I would like to show where. First of all, the problem, face recognition now, when we have face matching, it's not enough because we simply just compare the face from any photo or video with the face of an ID. And why? I would like to show you here, based on our solution, what kind of biometric attacks or even spoofing attacks could be. Just imagine this kind of guy, if you're a fan of Star Wars, would like to take an account or get in bank and get a loan. And for us, it's very necessary to understand if the person is alive or not. This is the pre-recorded video, the same person on ID. And our solution also helps to identify this kind of person and also deny liveness. If we are using, for example, ID, rarely face matching is the same, but liveness is necessary to identify and to prevent this kind of attack. Depends on the losses of these kind of frauds. We would like to say that global identity fraud is about $17 billion only in 1980. In 2019. And that's why the biometric system market grows rapidly. Even it will be from $11 billion up to $87 billion within 5 years. We estimated our market and even in Asia, it could be $175 million. It was only last year and it's growing rapidly. And this kind of market is estimated only in commercial banks. So just imagine what kind of market could be if we cover not only financial sector, but also other ones. Nowadays, we specialize more on financial sector because we have proved already business cases, but the focus of developing is a very big one. We provide solution which helps to do face matching and to prevent biometric fraud by liveness detection. Also, if, for example, our clients, like banks, payment systems, existing clients, they use any scans and photos, we can identify any forgery recognition, digital forgery recognition inside. Based on the sustainable development policy, we provide safety to any people who are using remote identification because we have very high accuracy, 99.87%. Availability, this kind of service is available for any people anywhere. And it also could be used as during the remote work or education, or even in telemedicine, when the wiki should identify the patient and also the doctor. And that, our solution helps also to develop the digital services online for financial sectors and other sectors where the remote identification is needed. Why we? First of all, we would like to say that we have educated our system based on AI and neural networks on special models with our unique training data sets of deepfake attacks, like using printed mask, photo, video from another device. Even this is the real case of the sleeping person. This is the real case from one of our customers, and I'm obliged to provide it right now. When the person was sleeping and somebody would like to take a loan on this kind of guy. And we detect, of course, this one thing. Based on the demand from the companies we are working with. So I would like to say that the high accuracy is a key issue. And that's why the independent test laboratories results are very important. Based on last year, we are top 2 in the world in terms of biometric recognition. We have accuracy 99.87%. And we are trusted by our customers, who are mostly banks and payment system from EMEA, Asia, and CIS. We prevented last week, only with our customers, 2 million biometric attacks already. And the business value for our customers is quite evident. First of all, the clients using our solution within 3 seconds can go through identification, and it's so easy that it can help them to go through and take more financial services online. That's why our customers has X3 client conversion. We follow full regulations policies in the countries, and we identify fraud prevention with high accuracy. This is the key issue, and also this is the competitive advantages in comparison with our competitors in the world. That's why, and even during the pandemic period, where revenue grows rapidly, we X3 this year, and we would like to remain this kind of target during the next 2 and 3 years. It's because of we have a very good specialist and experts in computer vision experts, and our team consists of a business expert as well from IT and financial banking industries. Now we are fundraising. It's first time. Before it, we only implement our own resources and growing X2 before the last year. And I would like to finish my presentation, and also we'll be glad to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Svilana. I think it was into the point. Any questions from our judges? I'm looking right now. Looks like you're very clear. No, we have Sasha who wants to ask questions. Sasha, please go ahead.
Svetlana, thank you for the presentation. You hit the key points there. There is competition in the space. As a matter of fact, last time I participated in the Estonian event here, there was a similar startup. So I've heard about the competitive advantages that you've listed. Just curious about market targets you're after. And within that, kind of a second part of a question, are you considering expanding into US market at all?
Well, it depends on the last part of the question, US market. First of all, I would like to say that there are some sort of obstacles to develop ourselves in the US market right now. And we mostly focusing on Asia. Let me explain. For example, I should invest less $2 million to my office. We have already office in the United States, in Wyoming, in order to go business to do business in the United States. But I don't need to have this kind of investment in Asian market. And that's why we see this kind of market. It's more blue for us than red. And that's why we are more focusing there. Moreover, depends on the characters and features of our solution. Our solution can do identification, not sending personal information to the organization, for example. It could be also done on mobile devices too. and it helps to spread it as much as possible, for example, to faraway islands in Asian market. And that's also a very good competitive advantage of ours on this kind of Asian market. We are ready to work on the United States market, and my acceleration programs at 500 Startup helps to investigate the market. We will mostly see our development in US market as a second stage of our development, because now Asia, and then it could be United States, mostly with microfinance organization. It will be very easy, depends on regulation policies as well in United States. I hope I answer your questions right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
This
Wow,
is
any
great.
questions?
I'm checking, but actually I have a question. You said there's a lot of obstacles, and I would like to ask you, what's your biggest challenge to scale? Like if you're asking going for the next step, is it mainly the funding? Is it the partners? Is it the cash flow? Like what's your biggest challenge for scaling to the next level?
Well, first of all, let's divide this question into two. When I mention obstacles, I mean there are special regulations in terms of biometric recognition, especially in the United States. That's what I mean. Let me explain. For example, I should take a compliance officer as a part of my office, and based on the regulation policy, it's the person who should respond and also follow if there are any cases occur like this one. And this kind of guy is very expensive, I should say, and very good specialist too. That's why I should say that we need to invest more money in terms of good feeling and do business in the United States. I don't have this kind of money yet because, as I said, we don't take any investments, and that's why we are growing and we strengthen our technical team, first of all. So we invest all our revenue into the team right now. That's why. In terms of the growth rapidly and scaling our business, yes, we are ready to have investment right now, and that's helped us to be one of the big player. First of all, is we're focusing on Asian market.
Okay, got it. So talent and also the funding with the investments.
Yep.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Yeah, I see Vera here. Vera, please go ahead.
Not really a question. I just wanted to see what Svetlana, first of all, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Vera.
Presentation, and I'm really happy to see about the developments and that you're now raising. And I think the Asian market really is the right market to go with the numbers that you mentioned. I would have had a similar question to Ahmed, actually. What is it that you're raising for? But you said that it's mostly about investing into the team and the talent. So yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vera, and thank you very much, Osf Forensics. Thanks actually very much for the whole. Yes, please. You want to say something?
Yeah, I would like just to mention that we have also in our product development strategy 2 new models depends on face biometric, which help us to be more competitive in 2 or even 3 years. It's the new technologies, and I would like to say that we would like to focus definitely only on face biometric. Here it is.
On the facial biometrics, yeah.
Yes, and now we are using the predictive analysis, which helps our system, also one of the competitive advantage, try to understand if it's new biometric attack. So that's also one of the points we are now working on.
Well, that's new. I mean, I like, first of all, that you're focused in terms of market, in terms of technology, as well as saying you're focusing on the facial biometrics and also the Asian market, and also the new kind of features and models where it can make some predictive solutions or predictive analysis to this. That's great. And I think, I'm not sure if you already know that, all of you or the startups, that you're now part of the innovation factory. So you have your contacts, and your contacts actually within the kind of innovation factory community. So all the judges, all the jury, all the that we have, not just for this session, for the whole year, would have a direct access to you on your videos. These videos are all going to be on our social media, YouTube, Facebook, and also it's going to be cut by startups for some YouTube videos, which is super interactive community that we have there. So that's great, and thank you very much, Osf Forensics, for now, and thanks for the other 4 startups. I thank you all for being here today and for staying with us. Maybe 9 minutes over time, but that's okay. Maybe we're gonna ask our experts for today if they have like a final round of comments, maybe 30 seconds each or something, or maybe we can start with Sergey. If you would like to say something at the end about the interaction, the Q&A that happened between the judges, the experts, and the startups, all would been super innovative, but would like to hear from you. So Sergey, please.
Yes, thank you, Ahmed. Actually, our role, the role of Skolkovo Foundation, the role of ITU, the AI Global Summit, is to focus entrepreneurs on sustainable development goals. But I'm very glad to see here among the judges the VCs, because we shouldn't forget that, first of all, it should be a real business, a scalable and global business, solve real problems. So thank you very much for our jury members for participation and for guiding our startups. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sergey. I think that's a great point. That's exactly what I like about today's session, that most of the startups, they actually kind of pitch at businesses, like it's technology business, tech for good, but to be sustainable, it has to have a sustainable business model. So exactly, great point, and thank you thanks for the judges. So you have one final comment from each of the judges. I start with Vera. Vera, you want to say something?
Sure. Actually, I'd like to follow up on what Sergey just said. So true. You know, we used to separate social impact, almost put it in philanthropy, and then VC is something else. I love to see how it's merging now. You can actually, you do good and you get a return on investment on that. And I see it especially in the region where I'm based in the Middle East, that's becoming much more of importance for us here. So thank you to all the startups who did really well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what will, you know, happen with you in the future. And I'm here if I can support in any way. Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Vera. And maybe you're going to go to a final comment from Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was really interesting pitch session because it's tackled different aspects of our life, business, environment topics, and it's really interesting to see how broad the vision of the founders. My piece of advice would be for all the startups to think what problem you're solving and how you want to basically contribute to society and to business. It's great to dream big, but it's also important to have a strategy behind, and we are here to help you to navigate. So we'll be happy to be in touch with the teams and answer questions. Thank you so much.
That's great. Yeah, we'll do this right after the session. I'll go now maybe to our only man on the jury panel today. So Neil, would you like to say something at the end?
Sure. I think the companies did a fantastic job today and working on, I think, very critical issues. And I think just based on what we saw in the questions we heard from us, you know, judges, local problems have global solutions. And I think the opportunity to scale out and expand is huge. And, you know, we want to empower this. The whole notion of social entrepreneurship and making a positive impact doesn't preclude the need to make money either. And I think you have a great ecosystem here through the Innovation Factory and all the people to tap into. And I hope and encourage that not only the companies here today do that, but everybody that has an idea, everybody that has a passion to pursue, to consider at least looking at some of the resources here and see what you could actually do.
Great. Thanks very much, Neil. And Sasha, would you like to give a final comment?
Thank you to all of the startups for a great presentation. I felt like that the information was delivered concisely and to the point. And I don't want to be repetitive. I agree with every single comment that was said just now before me by other judges. What I want to add is I want to commend all of you for not just having an idea, because Russia has always been famous for its innovation. I want to commend you for thinking outside of Russia. I think there is perhaps a cultural difference between brilliant Russian inventors and other, let's say, American inventors is Americans think globally and Russians tend to think locally. And so I want to commend you, not just your entrepreneurial skill sets, but I want to commend you for bringing Russian innovation, solving important problems and looking for global application. Good job.
Thank you very much, Sasha. And yeah, this is actually a good comment. We saw a lot of great innovations today, and I'm sure they can scale and be global innovation, not just local or regional. And again, I would like to really thank all of you, the 4 experts we had today. I would like to thank the 5 startups we had today as well. And very, very special thanks to our co-organizer today, Skolkovo Foundation, and to Sergey for really pulling this off. It was a lot of work, I'm sure. And I mean, it's been great collaboration. I'm sure we're going to do a lot of them on the future to collaborate with Skolkovo Foundation for different aspects of technology, not just pitching sessions or innovation factory, but also to other stuff related to different elements of the AI for Good Summit. Please stay tuned to our website all the time, aiforgood.itu.int, to see all the upcoming elements in the coming weeks. Again, thanks everyone. Have a great day or afternoon or evening, and see you next time in the AI for Good Global Summit.